driving out of our normalcy. There's nowhere else I'd rather be but sitting here with you. 'Cause this is how it's supposed to be. Set yourself aside, don't forget this time. This is how it's supposed to be.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Litton Singer, and I am the proud executive director of Bright Futures for Youth. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We're excited for our first real virtual event. I want to thank our tech team who have been working hard to make sure this goes as smoothly as possible. And I just really want to thank all of you for your connection and being here tonight. Before we get started, I'd love to just recognize that the music that you heard when you were coming in was a Neo band, musicians who formed a band called Kite and Key. We had Lucas Brody, age 21, who started playing at Neo when he was about 11. Jacob Thrasher, also age 21, who started playing for Neo at the age of 17. And David Farrell, age 19, started playing for Neo at the age of 17. In the past, you would have heard these bands at the fair, on the teen stage, and at Friday night markets, and we hope to be there this summer. We hope to see you soon. We can't wait. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping items. Down at the bottom of the Zoom screen, there are 3 features that we'll be using tonight. You have chat on the left, Q&A on the right, and raise hand in the middle. Throughout the presentation, we will be compiling questions from the Q&A feature to answer at the end. So please feel free to put any questions you have along the way in the Q&A. After we've gone through those questions at the end, there will be an opportunity to ask more questions or provide any feedback that you'd like to. You can use the raise your hand feature. And after you raise your hand, the tech team will unmute you and you'll have an opportunity to ask your question live. Wow. This has been a year. When the pandemic hit just over a year ago, we all found ourselves struggling. Kids are out of school, programs are in question. How do you do your job when your job is to engage and empower youth? For a little while, we felt stymied. And then it all became clear. This was our window. This was our time to create something new. This was a little gift, and we saw how we could use this time, this quiet time, to be able to emerge as something bigger, something better, something whole. In response to what we all saw as increasing needs of youth in our community, we took this time and we are so proud to share with you tonight what that means for all of us in Nevada County and beyond. The merger of the Friendship Club, NEO, and the SAFE program into Bright Futures for Youth is based in shared values, and it represents a commitment to youth and to our community. Our impact areas: healthy relationships, goal setting, self-awareness, health and wellness, self-sufficiency, and community connectedness guide us. They guide our programs and they guide our approach. While a new organization, we still have 3 distinct programs, which you will hear more about in depth soon. The beauty the merger provides is an interconnectedness that provides more youth with access to the services they need. And whether it's providing a safe place to be after school or a roof over their head, we help to provide all of these things and everything in between. And we'd like to thank our community partners for being there alongside of us every step of the way. Many of you have supported both or all of these organizations. Some of you are hearing about us for the first time. Whatever your perspective, you are sure to learn much more tonight. So let's start with some questions. We'll get us all kind of participating here. We have a few poll questions that we're going to be asking tonight. They're going to pop up on your screen as well. What is the service you think of the most? And what comes to mind when you think of Bright Futures for Youth? Go ahead. After school, youth center, summer camps, health and services, counseling, mentoring and tutoring. What do you think about? All right, so we have some pretty even splits, but for the most part, mentoring and tutoring come to mind. Well, let me tell you that we do all of these things. Thanks, Chelsea, in the chat. We do all of these things and much more. In addition to all the services you see on the screen, we also provide basic needs, nutrition and wellness, education, special events and opportunities, connection to our community, both to access services and to give back, academic, social, and emotional support all year long. And the list continues to grow. When a young person in our organization expresses a need, we are right here to help them figure out how to connect. Whether it be a desire to explore an area of interest, a desire to learn a specialized skill or avenue of work, or connection to housing resources, we are working to be a one-stop shop for youth in Nevada County. All right, let's try another one. What percentage of our budget comes from individuals and businesses? All right, you are winners. 80% of our revenue comes from community donations. And that's one of the reasons we're here with you today. Our success depends on the support from individuals and businesses in our community, which provide 4 of every $5 of our annual budget. At the core of our programs is the belief that investing in youth now is our best hope for the future. Making sure young people have access, connections, supports, and are surrounded by people who believe in them, it gives them hope for their future. And all of this is at no cost to the youth or their families. All right, last question. What do you believe is the biggest issue facing Nevada County youth today? So there's no doubt that we've all been hearing about the increasing mental health challenges that youth are experiencing today. But the reality is that these issues are interconnected and youth are barraged by them each and every day. Bright Futures for Youth addresses all of these challenges listed above as we focus on building a foundation for success. We give youth an environment and the training to use their voice, and we provide a place for youth to feel valued and viewed as contributors to their community and beyond. Youth today want to be part of the solution. When young people feel a sense of purpose, they thrive. We will show you how our 3 programs are improving the lives of youth during the next 60 minutes. We will have a chance for question and answers later, which I mentioned. And please know that we would love more than anything to host you here and give you a tour when the time is right. So give us a call. With that, I would like to introduce Allison Lehman, our county CEO and someone I have known and admired for many years. Allison's professional life is rooted in social service, and I have always appreciated her support and understanding of the benefits of programs like Bright Futures for Youth. She gets it and has always been a strong partner.
Hello, everyone. My name is Allison Lehman, and I am the county CEO. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to share gratitude and my personal appreciation for Bright Futures. The evolution of Friendship Club and NEO coming together this past year is quite remarkable. Both organizations have played an important role in our community throughout the years serving youth. These 2 organizations coming together is truly exciting because together they will be able to do more to serve our youth in Nevada County, and not to mention the powerhouse of talent and dedication of their staff and their board. This past year presented great challenges. As an administrator of local government, health and safety of our community and continuity of government services was crucial. It was critical to work with our community partners to address community needs from public health, business support, to serving our seniors, youth, and families. The pandemic highlighted the needs of our youth, especially for our middle school and high school kids. We know the need for social support and life skills, safety net services from food and housing, and teen mental health services have always been there. However, support for our youth has become even more pressing during the COVID crisis. And we know the services will continue to be vital post-pandemic. As a parent of 2 teenage boys, our family experienced firsthand the impact of the pandemic. Like most kids in our community, our boys went from classrooms to Zoom classes overnight. Evenings that were once filled with practices and after-school activities were canceled, and weekends that were full of tournaments and bike races were no longer. Milestones of school dances and parties and school fieldwork were missed. And those of you who are parents understand how challenging this year has been, and I'm sure had similar shared experiences. We all know adolescence is a period of drastic emotional and social and cognitive development. Bright Futures was on the forefront of recognizing the anxiety, isolation, and the uncertainty brought on by COVID. Bright Futures was instrumental in continuing opportunities for connection, education, and support to many kids in our community. And I want to share one example of how proactive they were in their response by reaching out to the county, the superintendent of schools, to look at how we could better support our youth who were experiencing academic challenges, and specifically the urgent issue of the lack of broadband connectivity many students were facing, providing for a greater digital divide. A partnership was created with Nevada County and the fairgrounds and the superintendent of schools to create a learning hub where there was free broadband. It was a learning center, and youth activities and support services were provided by Bright Futures. We are fortunate to live in a community where local government, nonprofits, private businesses, and community volunteers come together to problem solve through innovation, dedication, and pure tenacity. As CEO, the work of Bright Futures is valued. The county is dependent on strong nonprofit partners like Bright Futures to support and elevate our youth holistically. And as a resident, a mother, and someone who truly cares about our community, like all of you, my husband and I continue to personally support Bright Futures, knowing the big difference they are making for our youth every day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Allison, and welcome everybody, and thanks for joining. I'm Machin McDonald, and I'm lucky to be able to serve the board as the board president of this fine organization. And I want to invite you to join me in following my rhythm. And I know you can't necessarily see each other, but I want you to just associate to something that I'm going to do, and I invite you to do it with me for the next 8 seconds. And that is to simply feel a heartbeat. Just join me in this motion. Okay, now the reason I say that is to illustrate that you all are the heartbeat and the rhythm of our community. And even through Zoom, we can connect in. And just as Zoom is, this presentation is a portal for all of us to connect in, Bright Futures for Youth is a portal that both live and virtually, our kids can communicate and join in with our community, our youth. Now, we all know the power of a compelling vision of a bright future, right? It creates a vacuum that pulls us towards its realization. And if our past is brighter than our future, we feel hopeless. But if our future is brighter than our past, we're hopeful. So Bright Future for Youth's vision is every young person has hope, opportunity, and the capacity to succeed. And our mission is igniting the potential of youth today for a vibrant community for tomorrow. And this is what we want to hold out in the front for all of us, for all of the community. And coming up, you're going to hear the opportunity to listen to different perspectives from our board members, staff, recent grads, volunteers, and even benefactors that have lent an overall benefit to our community. And you get to see how that unfolds. And on behalf of the board and our youth and our staff, I want to thank you and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you, Machen. I'm so grateful to you for helping lead us through this merger. I couldn't have done it without you. I'm excited about our newly merged boards. All the NEO board joined all the Friendship Club to create Bright Futures for Youth board. Nobody said, nope, I'm out of here. Everyone's like, I am on board and I'm going to make this happen. And it's been truly a gift. I have to say, some of our board members have never even met in person, and that we pulled this off has been quite amazing. We cannot wait to have our first board party. I'd like to introduce next Tim Reed, Assistant Principal of Nevada Union High School and board member for Bright Futures for Youth. Thank you, Tim.
You bet. Thank you, Jen. I really appreciate it. Welcome to everyone, and thank you for being here. It's a lot nowadays to be on screen for more than 8 hours a day, and so I appreciate you taking a little time off the Netflix app to jump over to us. But in all seriousness, thank you. And if I could just spend my whole 8 minutes thanking the community, I would, because that's really what this is about, the community. And what I mean by that is that our students and the youth of Nevada County are the future of our community. And without support and without a true passion to change the lives of students, we're not going to make those community members the community members that they can be and the potential that they can reach. And to get there, I want to tell you a little bit about my story. My story came as I came from a classroom teacher. I moved into what we like to call a term that I've been starting to coin a little bit called an educational firefighter. So I learned that as an assistant principal, and if you read the books on assistant principals, you're supposed to do this job for a couple of years. It's a burnout position. You shouldn't love it. When I sat at my desk, I started to realize very quickly after the first couple of days that what I really did was put out fires. I put on some fire gear, fake fire gear. And then as something happened during the day, if a student had a crisis, if something happened, I just jumped out and put that fire out. What I noticed is what that right there is not sustainable. And then so I started to dig deeper. Why am I having to put out fires, specifically with our students at most at risk? Why are they fighting? Why are they vaping? What is wrong? What is going on? So I started to dig deeper. And as I dug deeper, I noticed that we have some holes in our community. And one of the major holes that we have is that time from 3 to 6 p.m. And I can show you research all day long about how that time for our students is so scary. And what I mean by that is the time that they are most at risk to engage in behaviors that will shape a behavior or shape a lifestyle for years to come. And that time is when the schools can't help. And as we get out at 3:30, you know, some of our students maybe are involved in sports and some other activities, but that's a small group of the 1,500 students that we have on this campus. And if you look into urban centers, they've noticed this a long time ago. And at those urban centers, when I started talking to colleagues from schools across the country, especially in urban centers, New York, Chicago, Oakland, they started to say, well, yeah, we have the community center. That's where they go. That's where the community, that's where the counties, that's where the cities, that's where the police, that's where they put in their resources, because they said, we don't want to be educational firefighters. We want to be proactive. And they said, you know how we can be proactive? We can connect these students to something bigger than them. We can connect these students to a community where they feel wanted, where they feel safe, where they learn, and most of all, a place they can just go. So I tried to find that in our community, and I jumped right on the board of NEO. Loved it. Everything that NEO was doing was our answer in a rural Nevada county to that proactive question of how are we going to stop that cycle. And NEO starts to make that happen. But man, I'm telling you folks, when you look at rural, I grew up in rural America, up in the hills. And what I find in rural America, we have a hole in that time from 3:30 to 6. We have a hole in those programs that are community-based programs that are making a difference in students' lives. And NEO was filling that hole. And when we had that opportunity to bring those groups together, where Friendship Club, the SAFE program, and NEO came together and made, I like to call it like a super group. We're like the traveling Wilburys of youth centers here. Hopefully somebody got that, hopefully. Anyway, we are a super group, and that super group comes together and really makes a difference every day. And it makes a difference on students that need that difference. Our youth today are different than any other time. They have more trauma than anybody that we've ever seen. We've been able to identify things that our students have had to deal with way before COVID, and now added this level of COVID. So we have students of high need. We have students that have parents that aren't bad parents, but our parents have to work. Our parents have to be out until 5, 6, 7 at night, maybe all night long working the swing shift, the graveyard shift, picking up extra work to pay for housing in Nevada County. And when we do that, we leave our kids very vulnerable. And what this does for our schools and our community is gives a safe, warm handoff to a program that's going to make a difference in those students' lives. I can tell you so many stories, and you're going to hear some tonight about the difference that this makes in students' lives. But what makes a difference every day when I come to school is when I see a student. Now I just see their smiling faces from the nose up. You just see the little eyebrows go, yay. But when I see that smiling face, I know they've been engaged. And when I have that conversation, what'd you do last night? Instead of saying, oh, I just hung out at home, they say, I was at NEO. I took a class at NEO last night. I was hanging out with the Friendship Club last night. Aurora was helping me make sure that I had a safe place to sleep. Those type of things, when I see that on campus, guess what that student does? That student comes in and engages in class. That student comes in and says, I can do it. I have positive adult mentors in my life. I have positive student mentors in my life. I have a positive place to go, and I start to hope. And if I could give anything today, is if I could do anything at a school site to build what we do, is I would say hope. And what Bright Futures of Youth can do, and it's in the title, it's bright, it's future, it gives them a hope for their future. And it creates a place for students to be to build hope. Because if those students have hope, they're going to be in class, they're going to perform at high levels, and most of all, they're going to be productive members of our community. And all I can say is that hope that you give to students by your donations and the support of this program is unmeasurable in terms of the lives that you change. So thank you very much. I'm always going to be a strong supporter. I'm a happy and proud board member, and I'm going to be here for our students in Nevada County for a long time. And I hope that you can be too and help support our organization to really move this forward.
Thank you so much, Tim. I have been blown away by your support of your students and now our students that we serve together. So I want to thank you and the other teachers in our community who do the extra work and do take the time to do their best to work with these students and get them what they need. And we really can't thank. I know we have many educators on tonight, and I'd just like to personally thank you for all your hard work, especially in such a difficult year. So thanks so much, Tim. So now is an opportunity to dive a little deeper into each program. Some of you are more familiar with programs than others. So I was really, I'm very proud to talk about the Friendship Club. I was a co-founder when I was 19 years old in 1995. In 1995, we established the Friendship Club as a community-based grassroots organization focused on the needs of at-risk adolescent girls. The program grew over 25 years to become a comprehensive source of support for over 100 girls annually. It's long-term, it's individualized, and we have all kinds of fun. We eat and we learn to make great food. We learn, we laugh, we camp, we talk, we support, we connect, and we love. Our year-round programs provide after-school and summer programs, mentoring and tutoring services, access to mental health services, support with college applications and scholarships. Girls often describe the Friendship Club as a second home, a consistent and safe place to be. And for graduates, it continues to be a tether in their lives forever. The easiest and most powerful way for you to understand what we do here is to hear from one of our grads, someone who has experienced these connections and has built a support system and a foundation of strength. I'd like to introduce to you Renna Kohler. I met Renna in 1997 when she was 10 years old. We don't have favorites, but she kind of became one of mine. She was sweet, she was shy. She held my hand in San Francisco on our first field trip. It's been a pleasure to watch her grow into the young woman she is today. She's a businesswoman owning Native Ren in downtown Grass Valley. She's a loving wife and mother, and she is a contributor to our community. We reconnected after she lost her home in the Paradise Fire, and she made the decision to move back home and open her store.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me tonight. Sorry I couldn't be there virtually in person. My name is Renna, and I would like to talk to you guys a little bit about my experience at the Friendship Club. I started the Friendship Club when I was about 10 years old. When I was young, my mom was a drug addict, and that proposed quite a few, let's say, difficulties in my life, emotional difficulties and such. So when I got into the Friendship Club, it really opened up a whole new world to me. I was able to have a safe place to go that felt comforting and welcoming. I was also able to be involved with things and activities that I may not have otherwise been involved with. Things like camping. What else did we do? We had a tea party once, which was very fun. I was also involved in mentorships such as fine art, dance, and one of my most favorite and treasured things that I was involved in was having an angel. My angel and I are still actually very close, and we are friends now. But she was the one who really inspired me. She gave me so much to look up to, and as a small business owner, I looked up to her in that way as well. She showed me what it was like to run a business unknowingly and how to be a strong, independent woman. So for those things, I'm just very grateful and thankful for the Friendship Club. The Friendship Club is and was for me just a really beneficial thing to have. And I find it still very beneficial for the youth in our community. And I think it's a great thing to have. All of these youth community programs that we have are just so perfect and wonderful for people like myself growing up, where you have a refuge, a place to learn about things, a place, to call home away from home, which is just something that a lot of youth needs, and I appreciated it when I was younger too. And so I guess I just want to say thanks to everybody who's always donated, and thank you to the people who are considering donating now, because it really makes a huge difference, impacts people's lives, youth's lives. And today I am a small business owner in Grass Valley, and I am this because when I was in the Friendship Club, I learned how to set goals, stick with them, and achieve them. And then another thing is that I was, you know, like I said, given opportunity to meet and learn new things that otherwise I may not have learned if I wasn't involved in the club. So I owe a lot of myself and my where I am today also to the club. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Rena. You're truly one of our success stories, and go check out her shop downtown, Native Ren. It's beautiful and amazing, and I'm so proud of her. She couldn't be here with us tonight, but I'm so grateful she came in yesterday to film her video, so thank you. With that, I'd like to introduce Hallie Ellis Edwards, who will share the latest with NEO, an organization she co-founded in 2008. Hi, Hallie.
Hi, Jen. Thank you so much. And I love her shop. That's one of my favorite places downtown. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. It's been a whirlwind of a year adjusting to all of the COVID guidelines and changes, but our program is thriving. And so that's what I want to focus on tonight. As Tim mentioned, during a normal year, youth might have sports or theater, church groups to go to after school, and NEO really focused on providing a safe space for all youth, where they could go and experience new opportunities and have caring adult mentors. But when COVID happened and when the shelter in place restrictions were put on, that changed it for everybody. Across the board, everybody was isolated and everything stopped. And so we knew right away that, we really needed to adjust, and that our program was going to be needed more than ever before. And so we quickly shifted to a cohort model in which, guidelines say that you can have up to 14 youth per cohort. And so in order to serve 50 plus youth that needed our services, we have been hosting 5 different cohort activities every single week. The first thing that we wanted to do was provide some consistency. That is huge for the teens. And so we created a hangout session that resembled our former drop-in youth center that features group games, activities, outdoor recreation, art projects, musical instruments, and probably the most important part is just providing a place where youth can check in socially and emotionally with adults and their peers. Just keep in mind, everything that we did with the music and the art and the video games, 6 feet apart, mask on, sanitizing everything in between. So as you can imagine, it has been very difficult and challenging, but so important and so needed. And so we've been willing to sacrifice and make adjustments wherever we can to provide that safe place for the youth. It has really become the highlight of their week, where we all come together and meet to have fun and play, and the teens just get to be themselves again, get to be kids and have fun. We've been able to introduce weekly activities such as scavenger hunts again. We did a Valentine's gift exchange, and we even got to visit with baby goats that were super cute and sweet. All of these activities have created a space for the youth to really bond, connect, and build those friendships that are so valuable to them. And our hangout sessions have been so popular that we've doubled in size, going from 2 hangout sessions to now 4. Besides hosting those hangout sessions, though, we've also been able to host art workshops. We received a grant through the Nevada County Arts Council, and we've been able to host workshops such as painting, music lessons, jewelry making, fashion design, photography, and dance. And as you'll notice, those are all a variety of activities. They're very diverse. We don't just serve one type of youth. We serve all youth in Nevada County. And so we want to make sure that we're providing those opportunities for youth to try something new, to experience a new skill or hobby. And all of these workshops have been so critical during this time because we're teaching them a skill that they can then take back home with them while there's still not much going on, and to continue pouring and investing time into these activities to really develop those skills that could ultimately lead to a career one day. One of the workshops that we're most proud of is our Rhythm and Beats workshop series. And that was in partnership with the county to provide tobacco prevention and education to the youth in a very fun and engaging, creative way. And so teens were meeting with the professionals to really reflect and learn about the harmful effects of nicotine and tobacco, and to then create a song, to create beats, and then create a whole music video to showcase this performance. And so we want to show you a clip of that right now, and we're going to get that up on the screen for you.
Under sky and sunset tears, my mama cried, smoke in her eyes. We're reaching the ladder, so climb up the ladder. We both hurt each other, so who jumps first doesn't matter. If I called you Bonnie and it meant more than pretty, would you call me Clyde and tell me I'm witty?
All right, so that is just a little clip called Sunset Tears. And if you want to watch the full video, I believe that link is going to be put in the chat, so you can watch that at another time. But that workshop was just so important to us. Normally you would see us at the Thursday night markets or the Nevada County Fair, even at the youth center, hosting a stage for teens to perform and showcase their talents. But with COVID, that has stopped. And so by having this workshop, the youth have been able to still be creative, express themselves, and through that video, we can show that to the community. And so it's just been remarkable and amazing to work with all of the performers and the artists with that. With all of these activities, we've just seen so many positive outcomes from the parents and the youth. We're hearing that they're sleeping better. The kids are sleeping better. They have a positive attitude at home now, whereas there used to be a lot of conflicts and fighting. They're not as lonely or depressed anymore. They're experiencing joy again, developing friendships that connect or that last outside of NEO. And even youth opening up about very painful experiences that they've had in the last year, but just knowing that it's a safe place where they can share those things. And then we all gather around them and show that we care and support them. And that's kind of the overall theme with NEO, is that we are a family. And parents, the biggest takeaway, I think they knew that their kids wanted to be involved in NEO, but now they know it's a necessity. As Tim was saying again, for a healthy development, the kids need a place to socialize and have fun and to take healthy risks. And that's what we're providing for them. One student that's been involved in our little NEO family for quite some time now, his name is Eric Monax, and he attended the youth center all through junior high. And when he became a freshman, he was just so confident in who NEO is and what we do, what we provide, that he wanted to give back and serve. And so as a freshman, he ran for our class president at Nevada Union, which isn't typical. Normally it's a senior that takes on that position, but Eric ran for president as a freshman and he won. And so we're just so grateful that he's involved in our programs, and you're going to get to hear a little bit from him and his own experience with NEO.
My name is Eric Monax. I have been going to NEO for a very long time. I am 16 this year. I am a sophomore in high school. I've been going to NEO since I was in 6th grade. I feel like NEO has really impacted me in a lot of ways, because NEO is just a place for me to go and have fun with my friends and not worry about getting a headache from people vaping or anything. It's a place where I can go and know that I don't have to deal with all these other crazy things that are happening in life. It's my escape from the normal into the super calm and relaxing that is what I appreciate. I know that a lot of my friends have really had a much better time after coming to NEO and after experiencing it all. I feel that NEO is a very big part of our community because we have supported a lot of things, and it is very nice to know that people are supporting NEO and making it possible to do these massive group events and do snacks and food and video games for all these people that normally don't get a lot of these things. I feel that since Corona has started, NEO has become a lot different, but it's still there in the way that everyone expects it to be and hopes it can be. It is still available for people to come and hang out and do whatever they need, like want to, just play video games, draw, play music, chat, ping pong, anything really that we have here. We have so many opportunities. It is really nice to be able to have something going on with the NEO, even though Corona is a thing right now. I am, for all the people that have donated, I am very appreciative that you are making this possible, making it possible for everyone here to continue doing what they're doing and make it possible for our staff to stay here and continue being staff and helping students with schoolwork, mental support, anything they need. It's a great place, and I'm really glad to be a part of it.
Well, thank you, Eric. We're so grateful for your participation and so excited to have NEO with Bright Futures, or with Friendship Club now. And thanks so much to Hallie. 19 must be the magical age when we all kind of start wanting to really give back to our community. I know that Lynn and Hallie were 19 when they started NEO, and I was 19 when we started Friendship Club. And, it's just a reminder that even the staff here are many local people who really came back here to make the most of our community. So I want to thank all of you for that. Our third and newest program, SAFE, is much different than Friendship Club and NEO. And I wanted to just address something real quick that I've seen in the chat. One of the beauties of coming together is to continue to provide services to all youth in our community. And so while NEO is open to all youth, Friendship Club is a referral-based program, and SAFE is primarily a self-referral based program. We work together to make sure that kids have whatever they need and access to services, no matter what program they join or are drawn to the most. So I'm happy to talk more about that, but I did want to make that clarification since there was a little chat going on there. So SAFE is a program that helps address an increasing challenge in our community, and on occasion affects youth in NEO and/or the Friendship Club. Aurora Packard will share the details of our mission to help these youth. And I'm not sure if Tom Cross is on tonight, but Tom Cross is a community member who recognized that this was a gap in our community and was looking for support around this topic. And so in 2019, we launched a pilot program, and I'd like to introduce Aurora Packard, MSW and director of the SAFE program, to tell you more about youth homelessness.
Thank you so much, Jen, for your lovely introduction. So tonight I'd like to talk about an increasing challenge and serious issue in Nevada County, youth homelessness. So in 2018, approximately 370 students in Western Nevada County were experiencing homelessness. About half of those were in high school, and the other half were in elementary and middle school. We know that's just scratching the first surface. So many of these youth go unreported or do not share about their circumstances. Based on these 2018 numbers, that's about 3.24% of students enrolled in public schools in Western Nevada County experiencing homelessness. A little over 1 in 30 kids. That means that very likely one youth in your child's classroom tonight may not know where they're going to sleep. We know that with COVID, this is becoming even more of an increasing problem. We know that the economic challenges that many families face adds to the risk of youth becoming homeless. So what is youth homelessness? Well, it's difficult to define and not as obvious as you would think of when you think of chronic homelessness. So you might think of chronic homelessness or adult homelessness as somebody pushing all their belongings down the street. Well, youth experiencing homelessness are the ones that are unseen. They're nearly invisible. They may be couch surfing from place to place, staying with a family member, staying with non-family members, staying with somebody that's not a legal guardian, sleeping at a friend's house one night, not knowing which friend's house they might end up at the next night, sleeping in a car, staying in somebody's shed or an RV or a trailer without hookups. So what do we do? Well, in 2019, we started the program called SAFE. It stands for Stability, Access, Foundation, and Empowerment. We started this program knowing that we already know this population, youth 10 to 25, youth that may have been in this situation already, being part of Friendship Club or NEO. And we also knew that we had those relationships with the educators and the school counselors who already know about youth experiencing homelessness and can encourage young people to self-refer. Half of children who experience homelessness will become chronically homeless adults. That's to say, a study shows from University of Southern California that 50% of chronically homeless adults were once homeless youth. So in order to stem this tide of youth homelessness, we absolutely have to step up to the plate. And Bright Futures for Youth is taking on this challenge. So obviously, the elephant in the room is housing. We know that in Nevada County, we already don't have enough affordable housing. So it's extremely important to keep that in mind as we discuss these factors and how we are going to adequately address this challenge as a community. We at SAFE take the time to figure out what a young person's needs are through case management, through connecting with them and seeing their hopes and dreams and aspirations. We do our best to help them navigate safe and consistent housing. We work with organizations like Children's Behavioral Health, Victor Community Services, Communities Beyond Violence, Stanford Sierra Youth and Families, Nevada County Superintendent of Schools, the Nevada County Continuum of Care, and do our due diligence to make sure we are using best practices when connecting young people, especially those who are under the age of 18, with safe and stable housing. When they're over 18, we help them to complete those applications for housing, hopefully rental assistance as well, and get them connected to the continuum of care. But some things that are often overlooked are basic things that help them access not only education, but also transportation and employment. Many of these youth come in and do not have a certified copy of their birth certificate or a picture ID or a social security card. It's essential that they have these things so that they can move forward in their lives. All of these young people have hopes and dreams and aspirations, just like all of the Bright Futures for Youth young people. So we want to help them to find their way in the world, despite the trauma and challenges they may have experienced or may be currently experiencing. We know that when young people are homeless, they are at more risk of being taken advantage of. They're exceedingly vulnerable. And this is where we help to build those bridges. We want them to have that safe and stable housing and have a foundation for a better future. When we started the SAFE program, we had the aspiration of serving 12 youth per year. That would be 36 youth, over a 3-year period. Well, at year 2, we have touched the lives of more than 50 youth and continue to stay connected with those young people. We help them with a range of services. We connect them to NEO and Friendship Club. We also do our best to connect them to mental health care, healthcare in general, and other services. At the same time, we also support them in building those strong connections, safe and stable connections to friends and caring adults that can help pave the way for them. How can you help? Well, money speaks volumes and powers how many young people we can actually serve. Donations for the SAFE program ensure that we are able to connect more young people with housing, provide more supportive services, and build a foundation and hopefully innovative solutions to the housing crisis that young people in our community are facing today. With more funding, we will also be able to hire more staff for the SAFE program, more case managers, and connection people so young people can get access to the services that they need. We are constantly applying for government and private grants, but not all of those grants actually pay for staff and staff time and capacity building. So that's one way you can help. Also, volunteering is something you can absolutely reach out to us and ask how you might participate. You might have basic need supplies that you might want to donate to the program, or an old cell phone for somebody that doesn't have a connection to that. Please just ask what you can do, and we would love to have your support. Thank you so much. And I am so ecstatic to introduce one of our young people. This is a stellar young woman, a Nevada Union student who has huge dreams and aspirations. And I am so grateful to be able to work with her. Here is Selena Moore.
Hi everyone, my name is Selena Moore, a current senior attending Nevada Union High School, who wanted to share how heavily supported I am and grateful for our community's Bright Futures for Youth SAFE program. So one of this program's focuses is youth experiencing homelessness, and as I have not experienced it in the ways of others, rather only have I been concerned for my future housing plans once college nears, I was helped through this struggle by my mentor, Aurora. And that was not the only way I was assisted. Instead, I was offered more support than I could even imagine. So let's get into my mentor, Aurora Packard, who I was recommended to through my guidance counselor at Nevada Union. Thank you, Nicole Scott. When I was in desperate search for financial, academic, and future guidance to plan for a successful life. So through our meetings, we prepared me for all aspects of adulthood. Together we filled out government, job, college applications ranging from scholarships to even successfully providing me with my current job at Nevada City Engineering. But it gets even into more depth. We planned out, broke down, and organized every aspect of my entire life, like college, class planning, career preparation, connecting me to many, many other helpful resources, etc. This program has been very helpful. I cannot say it much. I did not say that right, but I cannot say enough. That's what I meant. It has actually been more helpful than my career life and success class, which I took through Sierra College. So the SAFE program opened their doors to me with welcome arms when I thought I was helpless and frightened. I may not have, a way. I was afraid I lost my way. But they helped motivate me to take charge of my life and showed me that it's possible to achieve your dreams through determination and positivity. So all that donate and volunteer to this program have purely good intentions and dedicate themselves to helping those in need by creating a better atmosphere for a healthier and happier community. I have only been inspired by the kindness of all offered through the program. And with their help, I can confidently say my future is now bright. Currently, I am an academic enrichment student through Sierra College, but I will actually be beginning my freshman year this summer semester. Very excited. I have locked in my degree being an Associate of Science in Psychology with a transfer agreement with the University of Santa Barbara, ultimately pursuing a medical degree in psychiatry. Yeah, that was a lot. But happily, I can assure myself everything is laid out. Seriously, everything. And divided into manageable steps to succeed. So with all these gained resources such as employment, knowledge, and experience and so forth, I feel more supported than I have my entire life. And this is the whole point of the program I see now, to give back to the community. Really is amazing. So in conclusion, on my tangent, all those who donate and volunteer for Bright Futures for Youth, thank you. And I want you to know that you've changed my life. You really have. And I have been beyond appreciative and lucky to have been assisted through this amazing program, because this is what we need more in life. We need these programs, and in the world in general, spreading positivity, hope, and contributing to the growth of the collective through action. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Selena. And thank you, Aurora, for your hard work. Aurora really has built this program up from nothing. I met her a few years ago, and I just knew that she was a powerhouse that I wanted on our team. And when the opportunity arose, I also knew she had a passion for these youth. And I want to thank you for your dedication to them. Thank you.
Thank you.
So as we mentioned earlier, none of these efforts are possible without community support from people like you. And so whether it's donating financially or giving of your time, we cannot do it without you. So I want to introduce Cindy Hintz, our Community Engagement Manager, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about our special volunteer opportunities and programs.
Thank you so much, Jen. And thank you everyone this evening for joining us. As Community Engagement Manager for Bright Futures for Youth, I have the pleasure of meeting so many Nevada County residents as I help them find a spot to volunteer. Some are new to our area and they're looking to become involved. Others are newly retired and they're beginning a new chapter in their lives. Increasingly, the spirit of volunteerism is infecting the younger generation. Several of our newest volunteers are recent college grads starting their careers. They're making room in their schedule to mentor, to provide volunteer support for our program staff, and they're interacting directly with our youth. How do I help a volunteer find just the right role at Bright Futures for Youth? The answer lies in getting to know each and every volunteer and learning what they're most passionate about. Perhaps they have work or real life experience that calls them to tutor, relationship building, and a desire to spend one-on-one time with a young person may lead a volunteer to a mentorship. For those whose time is limited, spending 20 minutes to deliver meals to the NEO program might be a good fit. And speaking of driving, did you know that once school is back in session, we will coordinate volunteer drivers to travel to nearly 20 schools in Nevada County. They will pick up a Bright Futures youth and give them a safe ride to their meeting or their activity after school. This is a one-way ride. Check in the youth at their destination and then you're free to go. In essence, I do my best to tailor the volunteer role to each volunteer's desire and how much time they have to offer. One such volunteer approached me about 4 years ago. Anita, her name is Anita. And she embodies some of the best qualities that I look for in a volunteer. Anita enjoys being around young people. She is passionate about the outdoors and travel. And Anita is dedicated to healthy nutrition, ensuring that those less fortunate have enough food to eat. I was speaking to Anita the other day, commenting that the nonprofit world is an ever-shifting environment. Volunteers come and go, staff come and go, the funds ebb and flow, the needs of the county fluctuate. So all of these factors cause change for us. I admire Anita's ability to flow with that change over the years. She began volunteering as a driver and helping at our events, most especially at the annual Thanksgiving dinner. Anita eventually found her way into the kitchen on a more regular basis, cooking supper for our youth as part of Supper Crew. We appreciate her devotion to take a weekly Tuesday shift as we cook for the kids. We value our relationship with Anita and look forward to her continued service and growth with Bright Futures for Youth. It is my pleasure to introduce a very fine volunteer, Anita Duprat.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. I'm a little perplexed because a lot of what you just said is kind of what I was going to say, but that's okay. I'll just repeat it because it always bears repeating. I've been volunteering with Bright Futures for Youth for, I don't know, 4 or possibly 5 years. And I was asked to tell a little bit about how I became involved and what that means to me, and of course, what I do. So first off, I would say that a number of years ago, a friend of mine invited me to an event called The Power of the Purse. And that was a very large fundraising activity that was held at the Veterans Hall for, at that time, it was called the Friendship Club. I was sitting at a table with a bunch of friends, and we were listening to Jennifer Singer explain how the Friendship Club began and the impact that it was having on young girls in the community. And of course, we've been fortunate to hear a lot of that earlier this evening. I was incredibly impressed by what she had to say, but quite honestly, what I found even more impressive was the presentation by several young women, each telling their story. They were Friendship Club graduates. They were moms or college graduates or women who were working or all three. You could tell that everyone in the room, and there were several hundred of us at this event, were all so incredibly impressed by what these young women had overcome and how they had moved forward in their lives. They attributed their positive energy and their strength of character to the experiences they had had attending the after-school programs for the Friendship Club. At that time, I decided to commit to giving a monthly donation because this obviously was an organization that had an excellent track record of success and was helping women take small and large steps moving forward. Also, I was in a state of transition myself. I had been volunteering with state parks for probably about 5 years. And I was looking for something different, some other way to utilize my time. Happily being very retired, I had the luxury of time to give back to the community. I knew I could give money, but I also wanted to participate in the process. I believe giving back to the community is very important. And I was on a quest to just find the right organization that would work for me. I had no idea how I would fit in, but I hoped that somehow I could make a small difference in the lives of these young women. The following summer, my friend invited me to help with a 3-day hands-on cooking nutrition workshop that the Friendship Club was sponsoring. I worked with a group of young girls, I think they were junior high age, and we taught them how to make quick bread and They learned how to put together a balanced, nutritious meal. The highlight of the 3 days, however, was a field trip to one of our many local farms where the girls got to pick fresh strawberries and eat them on the spot. It was obvious that these girls had never experienced anything like that before. They had never had an opportunity to go to a farm and pick strawberries or blueberries or pull up carrots or whatever it was. And that was just a real eye-opening experience for me because I've had the luxury of fresh food for so many years. That summer, we also took a group of girls on an in-town hike. And I do love to hike, and I find outdoor activities to be incredibly healthy and something that more people should engage in. But it was also obvious that many of these girls had never been on a local hike and had very limited experience with the beauty that we are living in. They'd not been encouraged to do that. So I felt that was a very positive experience that the Friendship Club was providing. So spending just a short amount of time with these girls was enough to propel me to find a more permanent mechanism for volunteering. This was an organization that I really did want to become involved with. And over the years, I have helped in many ways, as Cindy has already mentioned. For several years, I picked up girls at their schools and drove them to the after-school programming. I've helped in various fundraising activities. I recently worked on a food in a bag cooking competition, and I've spent time stuffing envelopes. One of my favorite activities, and one that Cindy did mention as well, has to do with the Thanksgiving dinner that is prepared each year for the girls in November. And I have the great joy and fun of putting together the to-go boxes. So after they have all of this turkey and dressing and salads and desserts, what's left over, we package up so the girls can take that home with them. And I just thoroughly enjoy being able to do that. But eventually I did find the activity that I enjoyed the most, and that's working in the kitchen. I think I just love food and I like cooking, so that seemed to be a very good fit for me. So part of the after-school program is sitting down to a light meal. Now, they call it a snack. I call it more like a light dinner because it's so much more than a snack. It's not a bar of something. I come in one afternoon a week and I help prepare a nutritious and quite delicious meal. It could be a stew, it could be a soup, it could be a casserole, it could be a salad. Each week it's different, and quite frankly, I have no idea when I walk in what it is we're going to be creating. One of the greatest joys and rewards in doing this is watching the girls walk down the hallway, wondering what it is they're going to be eating. Now, admittedly, because of COVID, they haven't actually been able to do that this year because they eat back in their classroom. But prior to that, the aromas of the food cooking in the kitchen would waft through the entire building. And they would always be curious, what is it, what is it, what is it? But then they would also pop into the kitchen on their way back, and they would explain how much they enjoyed the food. And that's incredibly satisfying when you know that you've provided something nutritious in their tummies. And who knows what else they've eaten that day or what they would be eating later in the evening. And I have to admit, there's something very satisfying about preparing a delicious meal and knowing that they appreciate it. And when they come by and say thank you, that just makes me feel really very special. I'm just one of many people who prepare and prep the food each week. Tuesdays, we make over 30 meals that stay at the Friendship Club or Bright Futures for Youth, and some of them go out to the fairgrounds for NEO. And I know on Wednesdays, they prepare over 40 meals. And I'm not sure about Thursday, but it's a tremendous number of meals and it requires the helping hands of a lot of people. There are so many challenges for today's youth. We've heard a lot about that earlier in the evening, so many obstacles that they have to overcome. And for me, knowing that I could help in some small way gives me a tremendous sense of satisfaction. Volunteer opportunities are abundant, and now with the new renamed Bright Futures for Youth, I'm sure there are going to be even more opportunities for people to help out. And as Cindy has said, you can spend an hour, you can spend 2 hours. The commitment can be small, the commitment can be large, but there's just a tremendous amount of satisfaction, I think, in helping out. And that's the reason why I do it. I am fortunate, I have the opportunity to do it, and I plan on continuing to help out with Bright Futures for Youth. So thank you, and I hope some of you will sign up to help too.
Thank you so much, Anita. It's so fun to actually be back in the office now with COVID. You know, we had to be out a lot. And so to be here and see you every week is just tremendous. And thank you so much for your dedication, for your flexibility as we've navigated this very strange year. And I really appreciate all that you and all that many of our volunteers are on tonight. And my many thanks to you. We are a mighty staff, but we cannot do it all. So we need volunteers like you who make it all come together. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Leo Granucci. Leo has been one of our longest supporters. We were lucky enough to meet Leo shortly after he and his wife, Gail, moved into our community. Gail quickly became involved as a volunteer, a mentor, an angel, and Leo quickly became a board member. And they both have done so much and have been such a tremendous support to us. Every time there was an opportunity to grow, they were right there to help us make that happen. Every time we identified a gap in service for the youth in our community, they were there to listen and to help guide us. So I'm so grateful, Leo, to you and to Gail for all that you've done for and with us. And he's going to talk to you a little bit about his philanthropy and his commitment to Bright Futures for Youth. Thanks, Leo.
Thank you, Jen, and welcome everybody. My wife and I have been friends and financial supporters of the Friendship Club for over 20 years. We were introduced to the club when we received an invitation to their fundraiser, the Friendship 100 that they hold every year. And when we attended the event, I had an opportunity to meet some of the staff and more importantly, some of the girls who were participating in the program. I was intrigued with the mission, wanted to learn more about the organization. So I hooked up with Jen and said, I'd like to learn more about you. And we met and went through all the programs. And as she just mentioned, later I was invited to participate on the board where I served 2 terms and had the opportunity to learn more about the organization. But I found the best way to learn the value of the Friendship Club was to observe a participant who was going through the program. And I had that opportunity because my wife volunteered and became an angel or a mentor to a number of the girls. And I just like to share with you my experience with her first mentee. This young girl came into the program at the 6th grade. She was taken away from her family to live with her sister because of drug addiction in the family. When I first met her, it was obvious she was very quiet, very shy, very low self-confidence and self-esteem, and I'm not sure of what the future was going to bring for her. Well, she went into the program and started attending the after-school program and all the other programs that the Friendship Club offered, the summer program, the week up at Jackson Lake. And as I watched her through her journey, I saw her confidence build. I saw her communication and social skills and improved significantly. Yeah. She became very good friends with many of the other participants in the program, and basically the Friendship Club became her family. Now, through her 7-year journey, she was preparing to graduate from high school in the Friendship Club. And I got to share with you, you could learn in one evening everything about the Friendship Club if you attend the dinner they host in May to honor the graduates from high school and the Friendship Club. Because after dinner, each of the graduates get up and address the people who are attending and share their story of their journey with the Friendship Club. And I warn you, you make sure that you bring a lot of tissue with you because there's not a dry eye in the house. Now with the merger of Friendship Club, NEO, and the SAFE program, this new organization will be able to bring additional services to more youth in Nevada County. The newest program of the organization that we heard tonight, the SAFE program, I found very intriguing. The past 4 years, I have served on the board of directors of Hospitality House, which is the only homeless shelter in Nevada County. And while on the board, I've had the opportunity to observe our guests, many who are chronic homeless, struggle with the transition from homelessness to transition themselves into housing. I'll tell you what I see with the SAFE program. It's really encouraging to see this organization addressing the young adults today so that they do not find themselves in a chronic homeless position when they grow older. So, you know, it's been a wonderful relationship with the Friendship Club and now with the new organization. So what I'd like to ask you tonight, if you have the capacity, please join me in financially supporting the efforts of this new organization and investing in our youth in Nevada County. Now, you can do this by making an outright contribution, set up for a monthly donation program or a bequest from your estate, but would really encourage you to what you've seen tonight. And I've got to tell you, being at the end of the program and watching from the beginning, my hat's off to the group that put this Zoom presentation together. Very effective and very informative. So I ask you again to give it serious thought, open your checkbook, and join me and continually to support this new organization. You know, investing in our youth today will benefit our community greatly because today's youth is our tomorrow's future. So let's get behind and support them. Thank you very much, Jen, for allowing me to share my experience with the folks tonight.
Thank you so much, Leo. Again, I'm so grateful to you and to Gail and to Laurel, your daughter, who provides us so much support throughout the year with our graphic design. We're so grateful for your entire family, and we're all very, very lucky to have you in Nevada County. So thank you. With that, it is Q&A time. So let's see, we have a few questions. I think someone's going to read them to me. I know we had some questions also in the chat, but also this is an opportunity. If you want to say something, provide any feedback, or just go ahead and ask a live question, please go ahead and raise your hand and the tech team will unmute you so you can ask your question. Caitlin, do we have some questions you want to share?
Yeah. The first question is, are youth in crisis the only youth that can utilize and benefit from Bright Futures?
No. So that's a really important question. And one of the reasons that we wanted to come together was to provide a continuum of services for all youth in Nevada County. So what that means is if a student wants to have a safe place to be after school, they can just go to NEO. They can have a great time. They can play games. They can have a great snack. They can play some games outside. They can do their homework safely. But it's true that NEO was also having more and more students who were asking for more services and asking for more connections and help. So this connection really provides us an opportunity to help a child no matter where they are, no matter where they enter the program. Another benefit is that while Friendship Club has provided more intensive services over the years, they come to us once a week. And so for the other 4 days a week, what were they doing? Sometimes they were coming for tutoring or maybe coming to hang out on a fun day Monday, but often they were also kind of home alone during those times. So having the opportunity for them to be able to go to NEO 4 other days a week makes it perfect. They can get the intensive services from us once a week and have their classes and meetings, and the rest of the time they can go and be in a positive space at NEO. Now, safe participants have a higher level of risk, but again, they are certainly welcome to benefit from going to NEO programs in the afternoon. They are getting connections to mental health services, but they're also getting to go on field trips and have a great time and get what they need. So again, no matter where you are in the organization, what you need is what you get. And this allows us to have our eyes on youth and making sure they're getting connection to those services.
Thank you. And we just have one more question in the Q&A currently. It's due to the location of Bright Futures for Youth, South County is often lacking in services and supports. Are there plans to branch out to the South County youth?
So yes, this is a big challenge in our rural community, transportation. You heard Cindy talk about the reality that is that we are picking up girls from school from 20 different schools every week to bring them to the Friendship Club. Now, we have traditionally at Friendship Club been able to serve Magnolia and the Bear River campus as well by picking those kids up and bringing them back. As you can imagine, as we all know, that's almost an hour round trip for a volunteer. At this time, we don't necessarily have a plan to open a South County location. However, we are trying our best to figure out transportation solutions to make sure that no matter where you are in the community, you can get to youth services and get referred to Friendship Club. So I'm very happy to talk with any individual counselors or teachers or people who would like to help brainstorm ways that we can better provide access to more youth in our community. This is one of our biggest challenges.
I have another question. Are there government programs that help support this program?
So there are some government programs that will tend to be available for things like the SAFE program. There are some of those grants that we're starting to explore more. What is glaringly obvious is that government dollars and funding do not often fund prevention. And so when we're discussing enrichment and being with kids and getting ahead of the problems and getting ahead of the challenges, the unfortunate reality is most government funding is coming to people who are already chronically homeless, who are already chronically mentally ill, and who have severe drug and addiction problems. So the community support that really gets prevention and intervening early in a child's life and providing a positive experience so that they never have to even make those choices is really where our community has come in. But that said, it's not fair for the whole community to have to support all of these things all on their own, and we are always looking for grants. I will also tell you though that private dollars provide the flexibility for us to pivot on a dime, for us to address the specific and individual needs of youth, and that fundraising and being a part of this community and having that financial support will always be a critical piece. What I want to express to many of you or all of you is that while we do have donors who can make significant donations annually, we have well over 100 people who are giving $10, $15, $25 a month. And this is really critical. We need an army of monthly donors who will continue to help make all the extras happen, because it's the extra stuff that is the glue that holds all of these programs and our youth together. Thank you.
That's all the questions in our chat and in our, oh, one just came in.
Okay.
Would you Would you come out and speak to the youth in classrooms and schools about your programs to better educate students through your eyes and experience?
We will be more than happy in whatever combinations to come and talk to youth and when we are allowed to do so. So we will work with schools for certain to make sure that that can happen. I want to say that NEO has traditionally also held on-campus activities. So when that is allowed as well, they've gone out during lunch times and played games to really build the awareness there. So as soon as we're allowed to make that happen again, we will be there. All right, any other questions or comments? All right, I see that we are at 7 o'clock. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for attending. I know we are all Zoomed out, and so I'm so grateful that so many of you made the time tonight. I'm grateful too that we were able to record it. So I hope if you're not here with us live, but are listening later, that you'll take the opportunity to learn more about how you can be involved. Investing in the next generation is critical and will pay off dividends in the future. This community, it's a long time coming, and we have been here kind of in our silos a little bit, helping smaller groups of kids, and Bright Futures for Youth coming together is really the point, is to expand those services to an ever increasing need in our community. I want to thank an amazing staff. You did not meet all of them tonight because half of them are running meetings still. But I'm very grateful to our entire staff and our board for the commitment that you make to this organization, to our staff who shows up every day and wears masks and cleans things and makes sure kids get connected no matter what the challenges are. I cannot say enough about their professionalism and their kindness and their compassion and their flexibility and their willingness to put their head down and do the work. So thank you to everyone who is associated with this organization, and to those of you who are new, I hope that we have intrigued you enough to learn more, to come visit, to make a donation, to volunteer, because we need our community to step up and make this happen for our youth. So thank you for being here tonight, and have a wonderful evening.